Today is September 8th. I'm Greg Whitella, Superintendent of North Tonawanda City Schools, with our weekly Facebook Live update. We had a successful opening day yesterday. Was in a number of the buildings yesterday and today to welcome the students and the staff back. And as if every opening week, there's some kindergarten criers and there's some traffic to deal with, but it all works itself out in a couple of days, and we're happy to have everybody back 100% 5 days a week. So with that said, we also have all our sports going, so that's good news. Please, check the updates on the sports section of the webpage because, again, we're with the Niagara Orleans Sports League. We do play Erie County schools. Erie County has a few different regulations and safety measures in place than the Niagara County schools do. So things can change. Right now we know that we're not limiting indoor spectators for our indoor sports, but masks are required. So and then that might change. You might see like some of the Erie County, if we play at Tonawanda or Williamsville or something like that, that the players may be wearing masks more, because we heard that came out. The numbers are still a little bit on the incline in Niagara County in general. Nothing to the level that we were in the past, but they are telling us that the numbers are rising. We had about 125 daily new cases, which is up. But of course, that's all the last 7 days. It's not the new 7 days. So we'll really be waiting for to see what those daily changes are now that school's open, and if that affects anything as far as numbers wise. But as of right now, we've been in good shape, and we're happy to open our doors. Go over the color-coded zones again. So the color-coded zones kind of got vetoed when the governor came out with masks, but what we had said is that we would only mandate masks in schools when we were in a red zone, which Niagara County is currently. And then there were different levels as you went to yellow, orange, and red, or yellow, orange, blue, and red. Where they're strongly recommended or if masks are encouraged. There were certain areas, like we said, like in the hallways, general area where we have everyone together, that they'd be wearing masks, but not when seated in the classroom. So we'll bring that back. It's not gone forever. If things should change and Niagara County gets lower and we get out of red, it is a plan that all of us have created that we would like to return to, maybe make some edits, but then share that with people so that we know what's coming and what's going with as far as the codes go. She said the buses ran smoothly for us and all my kids had a great first day. Thank you for all you do in the district for our kiddos. Yeah, there were a number of late buses though for our elementary students, and in driving around yesterday to go from building to building and being behind some school buses, I know that it's the first day jitters and parents putting the little ones on. So as we got into the lower grades or the later starting schools, they were running a little bit later. And then it's very important at the school to make sure everyone gets on the right bus so they get home safe. And that's always confusing with our little ones because mom and dad maybe took them to school in the morning because it was the first day, but they're supposed to ride the bus home and they're not thinking they're supposed to. So that all works itself out and we get much closer to the scheduled times in week 2. So we know that there were some very late buses yesterday and we apologize for that. But in addition, what will help with that is lots of times the parents want to talk to the bus driver or remind them or tell them something, and that goes a lot faster as well once they get to know the families and some routines. But on the first day, I witnessed some of those parents talking to bus drivers for 30 to 40 seconds. And that doesn't seem like a lot, but when you have 40 or 50 stops times 40 or 50 seconds, you're now 40 or 50 minutes late, because of talking and making sure everyone's got the right information. So we appreciate you sticking with us with that. It does smooth itself out as we go forward. Yeah, so yeah, busing's always going to be a mess the first week. If you don't want them waiting too long, best bet if you can, and your possibility is to kind of do some sharing of rides or making sure that they have cover. You know, it's going to be snowing, it's going to be lots of things. Weather will delay us as well. Rain shouldn't be a big delay, but if they're not, parents aren't sending them out to stand in the rain like you did, and the bus pulls up and has to wait for them to walk from the house to the stop or to the curb. Again, it might seem like 15 or 20 seconds, but you know, times 50 or 60, it's going to add up in time. So, but the good news is this is, you know, over 30 years here doing this, and that's nothing new with buses. They're always running a little bit late the first week as we get a routine set. Do kids have to wear a mask on buses? NTI bus. My girls are on from home say kids are not wearing masks and eating on the bus. And some are four to a seat. So it shouldn't be more than three to a seat on a bus. Masks are required. I will talk with transportation, make sure the aide's watching that, so the kids aren't pulling them down to eat because they should have them on for the ride. Yeah. So we do have a number of things coming up. We do have our October TNT scheduled. We do have an alumni game coming up as well. There's information now. We linked the independent Wall of Fame project that's helping us update our Wall of Fame and doing a lot of fundraising and creating scholarships and things is now linked to the North Tonawanda City School page. So if you're interested in an alumni game or any of the fun things that they do, like selling calendars or you know lumberjack ice cream, that a profit of that goes to the Wall of Fame project or to scholarships for future students. That's linked now to our page, but it's also you can look up the North Tonawanda Wall of Fame project on Facebook as well. But we linked it up today, and we know that as school gets going, we have open houses coming. We're going to be running them a little bit different, but we will be welcoming uh, at least a family member and a student into the school. In our larger buildings and grade levels, we may have to do that by splitting the alphabet for the class because we can't have too many people too close together. But every building will have a form of open house. They're working on that, and the first one up will be NTI, which is next week. So if you are an NTI parent, you should be getting information soon, and we'll be posting that on the web page. So they're talking about specific buses and aids, but we'll check into the BOCES bus. I don't know if he missed it or why I didn't hear that a bus didn't get out there because it would have been almost 30 or 40 students that would have had that issue. So we'll double check with that piece for the BOCES runs during the day. Those are the ones that pick up at the from school, take them there, and then bring them back from BOCES to the school as well. So we'll double check on those. I'll check with transportation on a couple of these issues. Moving forward into the coming months, the board will be setting some district goals. We're excited to do that. We do a 5-year strategic plan, and we will be doing that this year. We will be looking for parent input, so stay posted and tuned and watch for things that are being sent home. If you have time to sit it on a committee, we'd love to have your input on what the district needs to look forward to in the next 5 years. We're still working and meeting weekly with the Department of Health, and all school districts now are required to provide testing for employees who have not gotten a vaccine or are choosing not to. So that's a whole process that we're working on, collecting that data and getting that set up. So we're very busy with that. We'll also be open to families this testing. So if you get notified that someone in your child's class tested positive for COVID and you just want to be safe, we'll have that available as well. There's two things that we're working on for that. Obviously with the Department of Health to provide it, and with input from the schools, nurses, and all the districts, the 13 of us in Orleans, Niagara County. And the other one is that there was a grant given through New York State, and Niagara County got a portion of that through the Department of Health. So they're writing a proposal for services where that would travel. So it means that there would be testing in North Tonawanda on certain dates. But if it's not a date, it's in North Tonawanda, and you want that test, we can tell you, well, it's in Star Point today, or it's in Niagara Wheatfield, and you're welcome to go there if you can get there. So we're just hoping that the more testing, the more positive data that the Department of Health will have to work on, so our numbers are very clear. Let's see. So the keyboarding class teacher yet is coming. That was no fault of the kids or the administration. Finding that person proved a little bit more difficult than we thought. And they are, I believe, signing papers, so they should be starting soon for the keyboarding and other business classes at the high school. So far, so good. Maybe they were squished in the seats and didn't see aid. Yeah, we'll work on that for that. I believe the larger buses do have the aids, but sometimes they call off, or they're not there in the afternoon, or they're in the morning. And finding that, don't forget, if you would like to be a bus aide or a bus driver, we're always looking and hiring for that because countrywide there's a shortage of bus drivers. I'm sure you've heard that on the news. So yes, the more we can get, the better. So if you're looking for that, and we're always looking for lunch monitors and those types of things, they're very important and crucial to making a day run smooth. And transportation starts us off that way. So we want to make sure that we can get that running smoothly as quickly as possible for the people who qualify for busing here in North Tonawanda. So not a ton of new news, which is good, which means there's no more restrictions or there's no more guidelines to worry about. The one glitch we did have is, everybody was in this virtual or hybrid mode last year, and so a lot more of the devices were getting purchased, and you may have heard that everything from new cars to computers are sort of on a waiting list to get because of these chips that they need in them, and there's delay in getting those chips. So we do have a couple grade levels that will not be getting their iPads to start the school year, but we hope to have them here in the next week or two. They were ordered way back in June, so it's June, July, August, which is usually plenty of time. They usually come in end of July, early August, and then we set them up and we put all the security on them and put the apps on that the kids will need. And they've just been delayed being shipped, but they assure us that they're on their way and they'll be here as soon as possible. And that's really the glitch we have on this end, is not getting that. And I know some other districts are struggling with that as well. So we're working to get those fixed up. It seems like everything is running smooth in all the buildings. I didn't hear any glitches as far as not wearing masks or book bags being a problem. As I was walking through the halls yesterday, kids were setting up lockers at NTI in the middle school and the high school. So everything is, knock on wood, back to as normal as it can be. And we hope to keep it there. I wasn't mad that they were late. Yeah, so it's a safety issue, right? So the longer it takes to get the buses out of the way and pulling over sidewalks and that kind of stuff, from the loop and making sure no kids are running around unnecessarily, it's kind of a set rule for our K-3 buildings that the buses pull out before the walkers are released. So that could be delayed, but again, I don't anticipate that happening much into next week. So the protocol, okay, someone says, what is the protocol if a child goes to the nurse not feeling well, allergies, mild cold? So those are some symptoms, but there is more leeway, and those flow charts are posted on our webpage as well, where if they're symptom-free the next day, they can come back, no fever, that type of stuff. If they were in close contact, though, and they have this at the same time, There is some testing requirements for them to return. So everyone's a little bit different, but the good news is that, a allergy should not keep them out for 10 days like it was last year. Um, there could be a doctor's note may be required too that says, this is chronic, this is a normal symptom. It doesn't mean you still might not get a call once in a while to check on them if their symptom seems to be severe that day, or it's just very uncomfortable for them and they can't concentrate in school. There could be something more going on that we'd want you to check out, but for the most part, that's a good change to the procedure, and we should be able to keep kids coming in more often. For an NTI 804 bus yesterday came at 8:20 and home by 3:55, and today 7:40 without notice. She was close to tears today, thought she'd be in trouble on her whole second day of school. So, first of all, nobody's going to get in trouble for being early or late to school, especially the first week of school. So please reassure the kids that we know that this is happening and that there is a lot of leeway the first week. Even today, when I was going to the middle school and high school, I got in the Meadow Drive traffic, and when I should have been there before the bell rang, but by the time I got through the traffic and parked and walked in and everything, they were already going through the announcements. So, and I was walking in with a lot of other kids at the same time, and I know they weren't sending them for late passes or anything because it was raining. It's the second day of school, so we understand all that. So 19 COVID-19 flow charts. These are new from the Department of Health, and they are specific to Niagara County. So if you are looking at other school districts, Erie County or anywhere else, Orleans, or whatever, you have to go by Niagara County. These are ours, and they do kind of explain the procedures we'll be going through for double checking everyone is safe and healthy when they come to school. So we'll keep updating that too. I mean, I don't anticipate a lot of changes, but there could be changes. Yes, that's always don't send your kids to school sick regardless. Everyone wanted schools open. Yeah, so that's always a good, you know, you shouldn't go to work sick either. I know that's hard sometimes because it means loss of pay or you have no one to watch them if they don't go to school. But if it's just going to get more and more sick and they're going to end up losing more days of instruction anyways, it's best to keep them home and take care of them before they get here. But so far, a successful opening. I will be back on September 15th, and I don't know if I'll have any late breaking news by then. The big thing we're working on now are um, uh, the testing. So that'll be the next thing that we are able to put out, like where we can test, how often we're testing, what sites are available to the Niagara County residents, our staff, and students. So as we finalize those plans, we'll share those as well. And I thank everyone for listening. I hope you hit like or share on this because then more people connected to your page can see it and we can get the word out. Are K3 doing tablet work in class or paper assignments? I would guess it's a mixture of both. What we are telling our teachers is that we do not know what's going to happen this year, and if students need to be able to access lessons through the tablet, it's good for them to practice that before that happens. So though in K3 buildings, we use the learning platform Seesaw to upload lessons and information to parents. And even before COVID hit, where we had class sets of iPads, they were doing a little bit of both, mixing it up a little bit with math practice and different things. So that should continue, but paper and pencil is going to be just as prevalent this year because we want to make sure we can read their signatures and all that good stuff as they get older. So should be a mix of both. I would think if I was a K3 teacher and in our conversations with those principals and teachers, they're excited to get back to some paper, pencil, and some normal type of assignments, but I wouldn't say that means they shouldn't do anything on the tablet, so you should watch for both. Yes, all that is true with allergies and get sick at school, so those things are going to continue well into the next probably 100 years. So if schools stay the way they are, people will get sick at school. People will have allergies. So We do our best to take care of everybody and make sure they're safe. And I wish you all a safe, happy week. It is anniversary of 9/11 coming up, so I know I've seen a few things posted already about that. And we do have the healing field of flags over at Gratwick Park again coming back. So take a minute and moment of silence and remember those who lost their lives in that tragedy. I remember being in this building teaching third grade at the time when that happened. So that was amazing to me that we're getting up to 20 years on that or more. So please take a minute for that, and we will be back next week. One more question here. Yeah. No, we're pretty much back to normal. We should be good. We still do have the isolation room though, so if someone is presenting with more COVID type symptoms, we have a safe spot for them. So everybody should be taken care of. All right, have a good week, everybody. I will be back next week, Wednesday, September 15th. Thank you.